she did the group with a group of students, so, or like students that were in the class. So
Alright. Is it rolling? Alright. Yeah.
But we'll see.
Okay.
Did you get a shot for it?
Alright. So we're gonna get started. Welcome to another meeting of Digital Friends Club. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about Android stuff. I say stuff because it's kind of a, this meeting is going to be all over the place with what we're doing. Some of it's a little bit of show and tell, some of it you guys are going to get to do, but unfortunately the tough part with cell phones is that we don't have enough to give to everybody, and we don't even really have the tools to do all of them here in this lab, but we're going to do a little bit of stuff that you should be able to get to do. Also, if anybody who has an Android phone, do a lot of you guys have Android phones? So if you have your own Android phone and you have a cable with you, which I doubt you do, but if you do, you could follow along and do this. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you, you'll have to have your phone rooted as well. Does anybody know what rooted means? What a rooted phone would mean? Yeah. Yeah, it's very similar to jailbroken. I just read a Wikipedia page that said that it's not exactly the same as jailbroken because iPhone jailbreak stuff allows you to like sideload and do stuff like that, which is already native in Android. So it's kind of like jailbreaking, but with rooted you have like, you're able to get into the system files of an Android operating system, which you can't do normally. Is that right, Landon? You're kind of giving me eyes there. All right. So that's kind of the deal there. Has anybody ever rooted their phone before? Landon's the only one who's rooted their phone before. Okay, it's kind of cool. You should try it. It allows you to like run like Linux commands on your phone because Android is based off of Linux. It's based off of Linux kernel. It allows you to run commands like ls and basic Linux commands basically. So the first thing that you can take a look at in the T drive, there's a folder called DFC, and you're welcome to take that and copy it. We're going to use some of it. Some of it you won't be able to use. Some of it you will. In there's a program called Super One Click. Super One Click allows you to root your phones. It's honestly super easy. That's why it's called Super One Click, because it really does take one click. So you can copy that and then open up Super One Click, just so you can take a look at the interface real quick. It asks you to donate. I would recommend not donating, but if you're a kind person, it's tax season, so that's good. So get some tax breaks on your taxes if you donate to Super One Click. So yeah, there's that. So if you look at Super One Click, I have a phone plugged in. Yeah, so here's a phone. It's an Android phone. It's an HTC phone, and I know you can't really see it that well, but it's little, and it's plugged in. It's actually already rooted, but we can go through how it look up here. So you just click root. It's going to ask you about the drivers, and you'll say yes because you definitely want it to be installed. Install this driver anyway. Windows always throws a fit about everything. So it's installed. We didn't disconnect our device, and now it's gonna go through this whole AD automatic version check failures for OS. No. Well, there we go. No, device properties. Try. So things like this might happen. I think this is happening because it's already rooted, actually. So I ran this program on this phone, and it already worked. But for anybody else who would want to try it, here's the program, super one-click. For what we're gonna need, for what we're gonna do, you're gonna need your phone rooted. So the next thing we have is this thing called the Android debugging bridge, and it's packaged with the Android SDK, so it allows you to make basically you can make programs for your Android phone, make apps and stuff. You can kind of follow along with me if you can. Open up a command prompt. Oh, what's that down there? Cancel. Okay. All right. So navigate to wherever you're storing that. So mine is in the D drive. And then once you're in the directory, if you just run adb.exe, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of text pop up on the screen. And this adb, why this is important is because it allows us to talk to our device. Does everybody see this on their screen? Let me pull up the magnifier glass as well. So once again, I just did adb.exe. So it just brings up this kind of stuff. Well, what I'm going to run is adb and then devices. And this is going to list my device that I've plugged in. This is this phone right here. So it's showing up as alive. And if you guys had a phone and you could do it, you would see yours show up as well. Now, the next thing that we can do is actually create a little shell. That way we can run Linux commands on our phone. So that command would be adb shell. If you guys run this, I don't know what will exactly happen. I don't think anything should happen. What? No device found? Yeah, something like that. So then we can run Linux commands like ls. And here's some of the folders in this phone. So now we're actually in the directory structure of the phone. Most of the important things in an Android phone is located within the root and then data. So we're going to change directory to data. And if you ls that again, then it has a whole bunch of more things. That's okay. What we're looking for is to get past the passcode. So on this phone is a passcode. There it is, Android passcode. And look, it's not working. Can't do it. It has a passcode, and I'm not completely sure I remember what it is, to be honest with you. But we're gonna get past that. We're gonna march right through that passcode. We don't care. Taking it down. So change directory to system, because there's a file in there called gestures.key, and it's the file that holds the key code for this. Interesting enough, how many people think the pattern lock is the most secure passcode you could do on an Android phone? Guess nobody thinks that. I used to think that, but it's not, because it's actually, if you think about how it's laid out, it's a grid of 3 by 3, right? Each of those points would be assigned a number, so you'd have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what that turns out to be mathematically is just a permutation. You just have 8 factorial. Does that make sense? So 8 factorial turns out to be something, not exactly sure offhand. Landon, do you have a calculator that you could figure that out? 8 factorial. Anyways, it's a big number, but it's not the biggest number. Yeah, there's numbers. So you could do a pin that would be more secure, or you could do a pass, any kind of something with more place values and more character choices would be more secure than that. But it's cool, and it looks nice, and it's pretty, and it's fast, and it's easy. So we're in system now. We ls that to see what's in there. And in there is, right here, gesture.key. Alright, that's the file we're looking for. So if we want to get past that, we're just gonna get rid of it. RM. That's remove. So remove gesture.key. Enter. That's removed. Now, when we look at our phone now, our phone still has the passcode on it, but as soon as we touch it, it lets us right in. So now we have access to our phone. Yeah, there it is. So now we can do whatever we want. And if I close it and try to get back in, passcode still shows up. So I can push it, no problem. Right through it. What? I did break it. What did I do? Yeah. Guess I did. What's up, Kevin? Okay. So in an Android operating system, a lot of things that are really important are stored in SQLite databases. So MMSs, SMSs, app data are all stored in SQLite databases. So if you're trying to get stuff like that, for example, we wanted to get Facebook information, we could actually do that. So going back to that shell that we had, so we're back in the shell, and we're looking at what we have. Slowly. We're going to change directory into data. Look at that again, just for the fun of it. There's another folder in there called data as well. So data right there. Change directory into data. This folder, this directory right here is kind of like the motherlode of all interesting things in Android. You're gonna see a bunch of things. Yeah, these are where all of the interesting things are for Android OSs. So if you're doing an analysis on an Android phone, you want to find this folder. You want to find the things that are in there. There's a lot of really important things. So you have things like, where would SMSs be stored in? So that is actually stored in something called com.android.providers.telephony. There's a database file in there, and it has SMSs and MMSs. Apps. This is where you'll find things like Twitter. There's com.htc.twitter. Google Android providers talk. I'm not sure. That might be Google Talk. That app. Flash. HTC Setup Wizard. So some of these things are for Google's or for actual Android operating system, but then the other things are for HTC's little UI that they put on top of Android. HTC's. Yeah. Yeah. So every app that is downloaded is stored in this folder here. So as it goes, the one that's really important. So if we're looking for Facebook, we can change directory into com.facebook.katana. And now we're looking at Facebook's directory. And within there's a database file, so we change directory into that. Databases. And then we take a look at that. There's 3 databases: WebView, Facebook, and WebView Cache. Now, using ADB, we can actually pull this all out. So there's a command called pool. So ADB pool, and then you give it that path. So it would be data, and then com.facebook.katana databases. Actually, we can just take that. We can just take that whole folder. So you want to take that entire folder and put it on. Oh, I pushed enter somehow. Whoops. And then I'll just put that in the D:. So that's what the command should look like. Enter. It'll run. Cannot create no such file. So it pulls that file, and then if you go, this is what. So within in the folder that I gave you guys, the DFC folder, there's a folder called Facebook, and then when you pull that out, this is what you get. So within there is databases, and then there's the 3 database files I was just showing you. So we can look at that. So if you guys can open up the SQLite Database Browser, it's back over here. SQLite Browser, and then just run that. And then once you're here, open, and then wherever you have that folder, so mine's here, D drive. Let's see, Facebook, and we're gonna open up fb.db, and then you can look at the structure. I usually go to the Browse Data tab, and then within that you see all the tables in it. And then you can look at different values. So I think that there's one that's particularly interesting, like friends. So if you go to the friends table, you'll see user IDs, a username: Peter Parker, Mary Mars, Megan Jobs, Sally Sales. And image URLs, user image. They all did question marks, very pretty of them. And then hashes. So from the Facebook app, so on every one of your Android phones there's a Facebook app, and within it is a Facebook database file that has a list of every single one of your friends and their pictures. This is actually true. If you like ever get to image your phone, you'll see all of, like, on my phone, if I'm friends with you, your picture's on my phone. I don't know how. I mean, I know how, actually. Just kidding. That's what I'm showing you how. But I know how, but you don't ever actually see that. I'm sure a lot of you know how like your icons and your contacts list have people's pictures on them, and it comes from Facebook. Those pictures are stored somewhere on your phone, so it's kind of interesting. It's a little creepy. Go Facebook, but interesting. It's good to know where all these things come from. So that's one. And I was telling you earlier about the SMSs that you find. There's another database that I pulled out, sms.db. That's the one that was located in the telephony folder. If you just want to open that one as well, Facebook is the MMS SMS. So you can look at that. Then there's a bunch of tables. There's pending messages, threads. So here's, and it tells you everything that's even said. So like your Google verification code. Thanks, Gary. Works great. Phone number or dates, message counts. So threads would be like if you, I'm sure you know what threads are, but if you don't, that would be like a message block. So if I had a group of messages from me to Steve, that would be a thread. So like in this one, there's 15 threads. There's a phone number, recipient address, and then a snippet. And then in here, you can actually see all of those SMSs. So then there's a table called SMS. Phone numbers for each person. And over here, there's a date. And those dates are stored. They don't look like any normal date that I've ever seen. But they, I think, are in a, I'm not sure the date is called, but they're seconds past, like, Unix time or something like that. Seconds past Unix epoch or something. It's like from 1901 or something. Seconds past 1901. Something, don't hold me to that. I could be wrong. It's something like that, though. So in there's read, the status, subjects, and then the actual message is in there. So if you can see this, there's Lucy and I will pick you up at 7. Sounds scandalous. Hey Gary, are we still on for tonight with your friends? Yup, babe. Can't wait. Sounds great. Fine, but she's gonna be pissed. Sorry, didn't mean to say that out loud. It's bad. Just kidding. So that's not my problem. It's your so you can get a pretty good idea. So we can actually build a case on this whole thing here. So we have text messages. We have Facebook data. A lot of good stuff just from looking at databases on the phone that we just pulled out using nothing more than the Android debugging bridge. Keep in mind, the phone had to be rooted. That's the tricky part. If it's not rooted, that could be problematic. But there are ways to get past the passcode even without your phone being rooted. There's like apps that you can get and stuff. It's tricky. But if you're doing a cell phone analysis and it's an Android phone, run. It could be scary. It really can. It's bad. But they're also pretty interesting at the same time. So for those of you in 3.7, well, I guess nobody's in 3.17, but who've had 3.17, EnCase version 7 allows you to do cell phone acquisitions. Has anybody got to play with that? So you guys can open up EnCase version 7 right now. It's, if you don't know where it is, just do start and then search EnCase and then open up version 7. I'm going to show you quickly how oh, you have to make a new case. So we're going to go through basic things. So new case. You can change this to, for instance, we're just actually leave it to basic. Don't really even need us to fill any of this out to make the case, but just for fun, we'll go through it. So case number, we'll call it number 1. Examiner name, that's me. Don't put my name in there, put your name. Description, I'm just going to call this cell phone. It's very descriptive. Over here, there's a thing called base case folder. That's where we're going to store our case. And in case, I don't want to step over Dr. Inch's and Dr. Bird's job, but we're just going to save that on the D drive, so I'll put that in the DFC folder where we've been putting stuff. So there it is. And then on this little thing right here, there's a checkbox that says use base case folder for primary evidence cache. We're going to do that as well. That way they're stored in the same area. And then we don't have to worry about anything else there. So just push OK. Oh wait, don't forget to give it a name. That's actually very important. Cell phone test. Okay. Is everybody there? Is that where everybody is? Any questions? No questions. Okay. So over here there's a button called Add Evidence. That's what we're going to do. You don't have a phone, but if you did, you could do this. I'll show you basically how this goes, and then I'm going to give you the image that I created using EnCase. So you would click Acquire Smartphone, and it already detects a Google Android. There's things that you'll have to make sure, like make sure unknown sources are checked, as well as USB debugging on your phone. And then you can look at, it says it allows you to do a physical acquisition, as well as, if you wanted, you could just acquire these categories right here: SMS, MMS, call history. It's not as, honestly, it's not as in depth as real cell phone tools are, but it's actually, it's, for what it is, it's really good. And for those of you who hate EnCase like me, it's a redeeming thing about EnCase that it allows you to do this. I was impressed. So, with that, then you need to push OK, which I can't, apparently. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to close the magnifier. Right, you'll have to give it an output path. The output path is where the image goes. And it comes out as a, when you do it, I should say that when you do this option, acquire the only the following categories, it comes out as an L01. That's the EnCase's logical format. When you do a physical acquisition and do the parse phone artifacts after acquisition, you get both an L01 and an E01. So when you get a physical image, you get an E01 and an L01. But we're just going to do the easy one right now. And so I'd give it an output path, D drive, C, and call it phone, save. I still can't see that. That's okay, we don't have to worry about it. But then after that, you would press OK, and it would start pulling out all these things. We're going to skip that and just go straight to adding evidence file. So add evidence file. You guys can all do this because I have images for you. D drive, DSC, DSC. And then in the images folder, we're looking at phone2.l01. Open that up. And then if you click that, you get all this mobile data. Is everybody here? No problems? Alright. So in here you'll have stuff like phone information. So in the phone information you'll have device, time, and down here is where you find the kind of the printouts for these files. So I think it's best looking at it in hex, to be honest. It's just kind of what I like to see. So over here is, time zone bias, February 1st, 2014, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's this time zone, February 10th, not 1st. This is 3:33 is when I imaged this phone, I believe. It's actually when and then under here there's accounts, account 1, weather.com, HTC, account 2. This is more important, account 2. There's an email address. That's ggates2011@gmail.com. So now we have an email address to attribute to who this might be. So more interesting, though, of course, is the SMSs. So in there we have an outbox, inbox, and draft. So if we look at outbox, these are all of our SMSs. And this actually is easier to look at in the report. So if you click down here to report, and then scroll. Oh, I'm in URL. There we go. Scroll down. There's a message text that says, "We have a lot to discuss tonight, so don't plan on going out tonight. So sorry, Peter Parker, no party for you." Fine, she's gonna be pissed. So all of those things that we just found using that database, that's the same thing that EnCase just pulled out for us. It's basically EnCase just parsed out every record there. That's kind of nice. That's really nice, actually. So there's our inbox, our outbox, and then our inbox, and these correlate. So look, SMS number 1. We have a lot to discuss tonight, so don't plan on going out tonight. Okay, so let's look at our inbox. There's number 2. That's not my problem. It's your job to maintain the system. So they're kind of, you can put them together chronologically. You know the order that they all came in. So that's really important for us forensically as well. And then there's drafts. Looks like I can't wait. Blah. Oh, that was a good thing that was a draft. Didn't send that to his girlfriend. Can't be having bad typos when you're sending texts to your girlfriend. It's bad form. So then there's call logs. Down here, there's information about that, so you know if it was acknowledged, or down here there's some that were missed. Okay, there's received, so that's an incoming call. Call 7 dialed, so outgoing, missed. So there's a call that he missed, and phone numbers associated to it. So there's a phone number, a time, a date. So these are all like the information you can see that would be really useful in a case, right? You can see how this would be important to know. Yeah. Okay. So then here we also have contact information that it parsed out. So there's a phone number and an email for this guy. This is peterparker65@gmail.com. I think over here you might... Nope, nothing over there. So there's a couple contacts that he has. mjobs@gmail, there's a phone number. And then other things that are really cool. Internet data. So over here there's bookmarks. This is like the browser within your phone. Information that you would find within that. Is it tough to see? Should I put the magnifier back on? You guys all good? Okay. Alright, so down here you can see google.com, Picasa, Facebook, New York Times. But what's interesting about all of these is you look at the number of times that they're visited. So this was visited 4 times. However, MySpace wasn't visited at all. It's a bookmark. It's probably one that came with the phone. It was pre-installed, and HTC thinks, hey, they probably want to get in MySpace, you know, back in 2009. But what is more important, though, is the URLs. So we look at URLs. There's things like that says, so yeah. So this is like it looks like an image search, music, some kind of image search that was done once. Music start, yeah. There's Mexican music that he was searching for, looked for once. Via Forensics as a forensic site. Hulu, Google, that he was visited twice. I believe there's some shady stuff that he was looking at too. Job search, that's not shady. That's actually pretty normal. Indeed, Atlanta, Indeed. That's actually like there's actually the title for that. Analysis Syria brushes off sanctions over Assad crackdown. Oh, there you go. Fast 5 torrent. That's what we like to see. Crack people for torrenting. Has anybody ever torrented something?
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. But that's actually not so bad. Although people might not like that. There's definitely some other. I remember there being some other bad stuff there. Just kind of. I don't know what that is. Anyways, you could play through that, see what's there in these URLs. But Pirate Bay. That's some bad stuff too, isn't it? No, that's not that bad. I don't know. It might be illegal though. Is Pirate Bay illegal? Is that illegal? It's a gray area?
It's a gray area. I know they wanted to buy their own island, so they wouldn't be what's that?
I think they're based off of oil mining, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's gray.
It's another torrenting site, right? Okay, that's what I thought. Rapture to start May 21st. Group claims. That's interesting. Guess it didn't because we passed May 21st, 2009. Oh wait, that's 2011. My bad. So 2011. Either way, we're still good. So yeah, that's kind of. EnCase makes this phone information really nice and easy, so that way we can do kind of the forensics analysis that we're used to, right? Rather than doing with the ADB and pulling out database files. I mean, it's clunky, but it's good to know how those things work and how the file system works. Android file system is called YAFFS, which stands for Yet Another Free File System. Is that it? Nope, that was close though.
Yet another file system too.
Oh, Yet Another File System 2. What's the 2 Fs? What's the Yet Another File System 2?
Yeah.
But it's YAFFS. 2 Fs.
Yet another file system.
Anyways, Yet Another File System is what that is.
Yet another fat file system.
Yet Another Fat File System. That's it. That makes sense. So it's good to kind of know how that works, just like it's good to know how FAT32 works and how NTFS works. It's that way you know where things are stored and how the file system handles files and deletes files and stores files. Is there any questions about that? You're welcome to take anything in that folder. Try to root your phones, try to image your phones, see what's on your phone, see what you can find. I promise you, it'll be super surprising what you can find on your phone. It'll be like, I know I did not go to that site. I know I did not download pictures of Landon. But yet, why are there pictures of Landon on my phone? I have no idea. It's crazy. Your phone is like a magnet for data. It takes everything. Everything. And iPhones are actually particularly easy too, as long as it's before iPhone 5. Does anybody have like an iPhone 4, 4S? You do? Yeah. Those you can image those physically even and get a lot of data on them off of them. Yeah, and you'd be surprised what's on there. That's pretty easy to do actually. Okay, that's not so bad. Any other questions? I will not. You have a question?
I was wondering if we could see like GPS data on the phone.
Yeah. So in an Android file system, there's another one of those com.android.blah blah blah, but there's one for maps, and I think that's where you would find GPS data. I'm not exactly sure how it's stored, but it'd be. I was looking for that too, and I didn't quite find anything. It'd be interesting to see with what you could find. Yeah, I'd like to make a project out of that. So, fun fact: I will not be here next week. Maybe we're planning on either doing a hardware thing, or depending on how cases are going for 417, we may cancel the meeting because for Dr. Inch's classes we have a case due on Friday, next Friday. So we might use that just to let people work in the lab. So we'll keep you updated though. My cabinet members will decide on that. VP Brandon and Jonathan. No questions. Don't go yet. Just kidding. You can go. All right. Have a good. Thanks for coming. You don't have to clap. It's okay. It's not. Thank you.
We don't need to move the phone if you want to image it in EnCase, right?
No,
Good. All right.
I don't think so.
Have you tried doing this with that fake sample?